So we have talked about the lights and materials a bit. It's just an introduction, so you can know what to expect. But now we will talk about the render a little bit. So first, we need to make this canvas a little bit bigger, because the bigger the canvas, the bigger the render, of course. It depends on the canvas. So if we go to this button here with zoom, it will zoom out and we'll see our canvas size here. Since this is not very different from this color, it's barely visible, but you can see it. This zoom is, and it became pixelated. We can press actual and it will be okay. So with here you just can see how your model will fit into this area, and it's we can fit it a little bit better, so a little bit bigger like this, and it's gonna be, I think, okay. But if we need bigger thing, we can go to document, and then here in the bottom, not in the bottom, but a little bit below the middle, is our canvas size. It's document width and document height. Now is you see 160 1600 by 1000. So this is not exactly the best possible solution. We need to make it bigger, so I will increase it up to 250 and 160 and resize. When I press resize, ZBrush will call us and say, ZBrush will call us on the phone and say, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to piss me off? No. It will just get this message. Are you sure to resize the document? It's not undoable operation. No problem, we say yes. And now we have this thing. And you notice it's not very good, so we drag with our mouse, and what happens is it's starting to lag a lot. And we have a lot of models on the screen. So what's the problem here? The edit is disabled. We have to press T or just press edit. Edit object is T, the T key. So we press it. And now we press Ctrl N to renew the canvas. Ctrl N. And now we have only one of our object. And then we press F to, yes, let's press F again. Okay. And we are okay. Now we have our object set. The render window, let me show you render. And then we'll dock it. I prefer to dock it in this side, but this side is okay so too. So render window looks very formidable. We have render booleans, we have external render, render properties, BPR render, BPR something, a lot of things. But don't be scared by this. We will use render pass. BPR render pass is our main thing, because you will, when we make a render, you will see here the composite, the image, the depth map, which we probably won't use, the shadow, the ambient occlusion, very important, shadow and ambient occlusion, we'll use them the most. The mask, it's to cut the object from the background. SSS and floor, we probably won't be using. Let's make a render and see what will happen here. So press BPR, or in our case is Shift Q, because I made it that way with shortcuts. I made the shortcut, so I will press BPR. We will wait a bit. Ooh, we will wait a lot. But why should we wait so long? I don't know. Probably because the resolution is bigger, but it doesn't have anything to complicate it in this scene. The shadows are normal. It's very strange that it takes so much time to render this, but we'll see. And our render is complete, but I'm a little bit concerned here because I just clicked on the canvas and the render is gone. But the thing is, we have already our render. So we have the image, we have the mask, we have the shadow, we have the depth, we have all those maps here, and we can save them by just clicking on them and then saving them, but we won't do that for now. First I want to check out why is the model lagging so much. How? I will go through each and every subtool. I will just click on it. What is this? Mesh cannot be edited. Quick edit 3D mode is off. Okay. That's strange. But it's interesting. So I'm trying to... quick 3D edit in transform palette. Let's turn it on. Quick 3D edit. It's very strange. And here it is. Transform palette. Quick 3D edit. I see this for the first time. That's very strange. But now I think it will be okay. Let's go and go over each and every subtool just by alt-clicking on them. And just see if we have dynamic subdivision on any of them, because this will cause the model to lag, most likely. But we don't have any dynamic subdivision. Everything is subdivided properly. I think it's cool. But probably it was because of this quick 3D edit was not turned on. And believe me, I see this for a first time in my life. I've been working with ZBrush for 10 years now, and this was the first time. But everything has a first time. So if you have this problem, you just follow ZBrush instruction. Go to transform and quick 3D edit. Turn it on and it will be okay. So now we have this render passes here. Let's try to render it again and see if it will be that slow. But remember, when you render now, those passes will be gone and they will be replaced by the new render. So let's render. Oh, it's much faster. It's just much faster when we have this quick 3D edit on. And now we have this. If we need the shadows to be a little bit not so thick and not so sharp, we can adjust them. If we need the ambient occlusion to be on, we can just adjust it from here. But since it's not on, it's not adjustable yet. But we can go to BPR shadow, open it, and we will work only this window, BPR shadow window, and BPR ambient occlusion a little bit. So all the other things you just don't need to know for now. And maybe you won't be needing them anyway, but whatever. So render properties, if we go to render properties also, we can turn on and off some things. For example, we can turn off shadows, and then when we render, it will not render shadows. It will be pretty quick. Sometimes it's useful. When we turn on the ambient occlusion, when we render, it will be slower, but now we will have ambient occlusion. Remember always to go to ambient occlusion and increase the race. Not the race. The race will be good, 2025. But the resolution, not to the maximum, but 4000 or most of the time is fine for resolution. Because default is very low and your ambient occlusion will be very bad. I mean, it will be not detailed at all. But with a good resolution of 4000, it will be slower, yes, but the resolution will be nicer. For the shadows, if we want to make the shadows a little bit blurred, we can increase the angle here at some degrees and increase the blur at 4, for example. Let's see it now. It will be slower because we have ambient occlusion. At the big resolution, we have shadows, we have everything, but since our model is pretty simple, it wouldn't take so much longer, you know. Sometimes, for some models, I've seen renders that take like 2 or 3 minutes. Now this is for a couple of seconds and it was ready. And now you can see that we have also ambient occlusion here. Let's save this ambient occlusion here. Let's make a folder, new folder, rend, and save BPR ambient occlusion here inside the rend. I save it as TIFF most of the time. Save. And I will show you the ambient occlusion now. Let me see, where is it? Rend, BPR ambient occlusion, and it will be open in Photoshop, so you can see it here. Let's make it bigger. And you see we have kind of good ambient occlusion because we have all those things here on the horns and everything. We have detail on the ambient occlusion layer, which is fine. If the resolution is lower than 4000 or at least lower than 2000, all of those details will be very blurred and not very nice. So in the next video I will show you how to render, but let me show you one more thing just fast, and in the next video I will show that again. So let's make a rim light. To make a rim light I always go to this light. So this is our main light, and I go to diagonal light, diagonal light. But let's go to the light, and this is the light. So you see, I switch it on by twice clicking on it, and I think I already did that once, but I will move the light in the middle and then just click on it. And when you click on the dot here on the ball, when you click on it once, it will go behind the object. So now the blue light is behind the object. We can make it a little bit lighter blue. And then the intensity, the ambient we won't touch. We just need shadow and intensity. That's why they're here. So the intensity I will increase it like this, or maybe even more, or maybe even to a lot. So now we have this kind of very interesting rim light, but let's keep it not that big. And then let's see, the main light is here. We will move it a bit on the side, and then this light, we will move it a bit on the other side. So that makes this light on the left side here, and it's lit on. You see the ball here. The ball is lit on from this side, and here there is a shadow here, and then this rim light is just following the surfaces behind the shadow, and it's making them more interesting. So now you can see it's looking good. Of course, if we render now, I show you already that because of this light, the rim light is stronger than our main light, which is less than 1, and this intensity is 3.7. If the rim light doesn't have shadows, it will be cool. But if the rim light have shadows, then our model will be dark. Because the rim light, since it's stronger, will shadow the other light, which is normal. Don't think that ZBrush is very good for rendering. It's not exactly the best rendering program. It's not physical based rendering, it's not PBR, but it's kind of good for presentation if you can work with it, if you can do it right with shadows and everything. And now this rim light is looking pretty good, so I will probably, when we start rendering, we will render different passes. We'll render one pass without rim light and then another pass with rim light, and then we'll combine them in Photoshop, which will be a good experience. But now we can go ahead and try just one render with everything, but remember, without shadows on the rim light, because they will darken our model since the rim light is pretty strong. So let's see how it will look without the shadows on the rim light. Maybe bad. It's kind of good, but also very interesting. Now our model looks a little bit dark because of the ambient occlusion. Ambient occlusion will be a separate layer that we will put in Photoshop above the object. We will make it with opacity. We even can make it color, not black and white, but colorful, because it will make our model look a little bit more alive. Now it just dulls the model. It's not good. So that's what we are gonna do in the next video. For now, just take care, and I hope that you already know a little bit more about the rendering window or the render window than before, and you know what to do, how to make your shadows a little bit blurrier on the edges, not so sharp, and also the ambient occlusion to be sharp and good. You need at least 4000 resolution is fine, and you see it's not that it's not slowing that down that much, so it's cool. So see you in the next video, where we will make the render passes, then we'll put them in Photoshop, and we will make the final render, and we will be cool and good to go.